Good afternoon. How's everybody today? Hope you're doing well. So, story time. Hat on, shirt on, army talking. Um, back in the time when I was in the green clothes, I was in the school and um, teaching at the school, and the SAS came to the school, and we were told about it, obviously. And then they came a few times, trying different vehicles. They had when the dune buggy thing they used came out. They came and rode around our compound. You could see them, and they went out onto the range to test it out. Basically, a dune buggy painted green with all baskets for all their stuff to go in. I think that was before Desert Storm, but the time when I physically worked with them. They came to our school and we taught them how to start vehicles and so on. And actually it was a few at each wing. So they work with the Armor Corps, and they work with I'm not sure engineers and infantry, but with us, the artillery. And we all taught them how to steal vehicles. Basically, they learned how to start the vehicle and drive it. I said, start it, drive it, start it, and drive it, so they could steal it. So they played enemy against the British Army on big exercises like Reforger, and I don't remember any others. Back when I was playing around, I left Germany, and I was obviously in the UK when a lot of these exercises happened after school teaching. So they came to us. We taught them the different vehicles, because that was an Armor Corps center. All armored vehicles are there. For the whole British Army, that's where all the automotive side of the vehicle was taught. The Armor Corps taught signals and stuff, but our stuff was done somewhere else. We just did armored there. So they came in, we taught them everything, but when hanging out with them for a few days was interesting. They're just like normal people, bit more studious probably than the average, and quieter than the average, I would say. They're there to learn, not to be a dope or anything. So we taught them everything they asked to learn, and then they wanted to learn, and then they did put on a like a little party at the end at a pub nearby I think it was in Dorset, the Railway Arms or something like that. It was in the middle of nowhere at a railway junction. They put on some food and tea, coffee, beer, whatever you wanted to drink, and just talking and getting to know each other, and having fun, asking questions. And obviously we had their questions and they had questions for us. What do we do and things like that. And then so they put on something for us. They came to us, we went to them. And I can't remember exactly where it was, but I remember going by train and by bus. So I don't know if it was in like North Wales, Brecon Beacon area, or but they were actually, some of them were based in the north somewhere. I don't remember all the details, and I don't really need to repeat all the details. Their main place is Hereford, obviously, but we weren't there. We went somewhere in the middle of nowhere, in the woods, in the mountains. And so when we got there, they collected us, took us to their place, and we looked around and interacted with them. And then we slept in their place that night, and then the next day we went out, and basically they took us on survival. So what is survival? Learning knowledge that you can use when the poo hits the fan and you don't have anything else, right? So like here I got a cup of tea, cook some food, hot water, coffee, pasta, ramen noodles, whatever that you can get. I have my little box, my little survival box here, so big, full of different foods. And Why do you have a survival box now when you're not in the green clothes? Because you never know. I'd rather waste my money with the stuff that's in this box than not have it if I need it. It's a mentality that you learn and you can't stop. And it's the same as like, so what do you do for money if you have to run? Like go fast now. And you can't use your ATM. What do you do for money? Do you have some spare money? Do you have that pieces of metal that looks like the color gold? What do you do? Do you have a good vehicle? Do you have a second vehicle? Do you have a place to go to? What do you need? What don't you need? All that sort of stuff. If you need to. So anyway, we go to them, and they showed us all their different survival stuff, how they do each different thing. But what was funny is when we got there, they said, okay, put all your stuff in this Land Rover and we'll show you where it goes. So we put it all in the Land Rover, and we're standing there talking to the DS, the directing staff. There was like a sergeant, staff sergeant, sergeant majors, everybody, sharing little bits. The Land Rover drove off with our stuff in it, and we said, hey, that's our stuff. And they said, you won't need that, we'll keep it safe for you. So that was the last we've seen of it for a few days. That's like all your spare clothes, washing stuff, all that. What does that teach you? Carry everything you need on your body at the same time. First thing, right? You're out in the field, toothbrush. Most of the time you don't use anything, because unless you can find soap that's not scented. Because I've done it myself. I've been in the woods. I was asked to go back to an old location, which you never do, but somebody lost something important. And so I went back, me and another guy went back in a Land Rover to look for this thing. And you know what you can smell lurking in the trees? The smell of deodorant. So people get up in the morning, soap, shave, right? Soap and shave. This is what we did back then. And then they put their deodorant on, get themselves dressed, and they left, and they were gone many hours. But when you go back, you could still smell the deodorant lurking in the trees. So if the other side special forces were looking for you or trying to gather intelligence, as soon as they smell all the deodorant, they know exactly that somebody's been there. And we found what got lost. Somebody lost the magazine for a weapon, which means it's like a really serious offense. So we found it so they didn't get in trouble. And but anyway, that's a story. So on the course, they showed us everything. We did navigation. So during the night, we set off walking. We had to go by checkpoints and night navigation. So luckily we had I think somebody had a cell phone, so we used that to read the map. But there's 4 of us in the group, 2 staff sergeants, sergeant, myself one, and another sergeant. And the 2 staff sergeants were bickering, arguing with each other all the time. One knew everything, and it was the dominant one. And the taller guy was I hurt my ankle and I'm not sure what to do guy. I'm like, dude. So just because you have rank, or my rank was down here, this badge here, just because you have rank doesn't mean you are the right material to be a leader or a leader of men in a survival situation. I've seen that so many times. And that's one thing the Army doesn't cultivate. They're hoping they're going to get the right character, but that's the process of going into special forces. They see you if you have that character. If you don't, out you go. But I don't want to get into what I've seen in the regular Army. It's a nightmare, but definitely not special forces material. So we did night navigation and leadership and all that sort of stuff at night, and then had to patrol and not be seen so you didn't get hijacked and stuff like that, or ambushed. And then we did showed us how to do catch fish without any fishing equipment in a stream that had fish in, and cooking food underground with a fire, and put the leaves on and then the food, and bury it so there's no smoke. Leave it alone, come back later so you're not found or you don't give your location away. And the food was nice. Less the dirt in it was nice. But the best part of it all for me was when there's a guy called Lofty Wiseman, who is the author. He was SAS. He'd retired, but they kept him on for a long time because his specialty was survival techniques and stuff. And I bought his book when I lived in the UK. I bought his book. It's a SAS Survival by Lofty Wiseman, and it was a very good book. It's about navigation with the sun, and always know you can just look at the sun and if you're in an area long enough, you see where the sun comes up, you see where it sets, so you know where south and north is. So if you want to head northwest, you know roughly where to go, right? Or you can use a string and a watch and so on and so on. But this one's one book. I've had loads of books like this in the US, in the UK and in the US. But since I've been here, I bought this one to read again. Chris Ryan, his story about how he walked like over 100 miles to escape in Iraq, escaped to Syria. I read it once. It was a long time ago. In a herbal book, I used to have loads. The first thing I did before I really got into survival is I was learning about herbs. And the first book I ever bought was Food for Free. Food for Free, like what you can eat. And I bought this since I've been here, Escape and Evasion. But there's many other books in the West. It's hard to buy books here, but I'm not buying any more. I just bought them for fun, comfort. So Lofty Wiseman wrote the book SAS Survival, and so the big finale was all the groups came together. Lofty comes in a Range Rover with his white trousers, like white jeans, and a white shirt, and comes up, and he's going to teach killing and skinning. So if you're squeamish, turn the volume down. But what he did was, and then he pulls out this jackknife, pretty big one, obviously sharp, and he proceeded to kill the animals were there, and then skinned them and showed you how to prepare for cooking. So you can literally cut a hole in it and hang it on a stick over an open fire, or like roast it that way. But when I was in the Falklands, I lived in a house for a couple weeks, and we got traded some army compo canned food. Some of it was okay, actually. After a while though, it just got boring. Same bland taste. But I traded some of that for some lamb meat. And we weren't supposed to eat it because they said it could have hepatitis A, B, or C in it. And I got it anyway, sharpened the butter knife so it was sharp, and then cut the meat up, put it in metal plates. And the only seasoning I remember having is salt, pepper, and mustard powder. So I sprinkled that over everything, flipped it a couple of times, put it in. Had to teach myself how to cook with a ray burner with peat. Big ones for night, small ones for cooking. and the heat gets up to like 400 or something, and so the average was, I think, if I remember right, around 320, 350, and cooked it for a long time. And the guy said they ate it and said it. I had potatoes and vegetables we had in cans, but the meat sort of just for a change, and very, very tasty. So you can have, in a survival situation, maybe it's better to be on a scooter and just pull into a village and buy something for 20 baht and go. But I believe, unless you have somewhere to go, like maybe you could survive in the mountains up in the mountains of northern Thailand, but I believe in like from anywhere from Ayutthaya south, forget it, nearly impossible. One, because of the temperature. The farther south you go, the hotter it gets. So you've got to find a way to get clean water. But you know what the Thais have, which the Europe don't have? The Thais have a system, speakers in the village. So maybe a couple times a week, you have a mayor on this side and a mayor over here. When I say this side, over the other side of the river, and a mayor on this side. And they'll come on and go like ding dong, and they play a little bit of music and they start talking. And then they have line groups too. So it's a group where they send a message to the whole group. So if you're trying to, in a survival situation, and they're looking for you and they think you're in the area, they just go in the line group, look for this guy. You got no hope, because the Thai people are not like sitting in their houses. They're in the bushes trying to find things to eat, right? They know every change of their environment. So I think very difficult. And then probably from here north until you get to the mountains, you might survive for a week or two in the mountains if you have food and water. Probably the water in the streams in the mountains are okay, but the weather system, so it'd be very difficult, I think, to survive here, because you need shelter, so you have to get that from somewhere. Plastic, you don't really need to go to stores, but maybe you have to, but they see you, they can report you. So I think survival here would be very difficult. In Germany, back when I was there, easier, because the woods were bigger, more what we're used to in northern climates, so easier to hide. You could dig yourself in camouflage. I think there's so many bugs here. In my opinion, I think it'd be very, very difficult. Anyway, we finished all that, and so you could say part two is, yes, I did that. Yes, I enjoyed that. It was an experience and I learned something. But if you take it a stage farther, this is the important part, is to cultivate that mind that stays with you forever. Hence the box, thinking about alternatives. The reason I'm here in the first place is, one, I left the UK because I could see where it was going. I had the job in the nightclub, so I got to see the police late in the evenings, early mornings, dealing with the drunks. The way they talk to people, the way they were behaving, I'm like, this isn't like what I remember. So they were already being cultivated to behave that way. And there's other things, but no need to talk about it. But so I moved to the US, and as soon as I got there, I seen the same thing. One of the things that really caught me was I talked to this guy and his wife in the parking outside of a grocery store. He had 3 jobs, she had 2 jobs. I'm like, dude, when do you get to see each other? How do you bring a family and be together? What happened to the days where one guy went to work, made enough money, and come home and the house was clean, tidy, food, kids are all taken care of, and you provided? Gone. So that's one of the main reasons I came over here. Just like I didn't feel safe anymore. I go to the gym and you see the police training, but you could watch them grow because they are taking the so they could be bigger, but that makes them more aggressive. Always had attitude. So before all that came, I knew a lot of the police, and I said hi to them and talked to them. But these were just normal build, normal guys. Then all of a sudden these guys come that look like they're ready for a bodybuilding competition. Or actually they weren't cut, they were more like power lifters, just a big blob. But you could see they had muscle and strong, but they also had a lot of attitude. So it's another reason why I left. And come over here, cost of living so much cheaper, people are different, but you still have to have your noodle about you. You know, you don't just, you know, you don't meet life like this and follow it along. You think, what is my plan? What am I going to do? What's my long-term plan? So you have to cultivate that thought. And so you can say, we talked about cultivating a survival mind. I like that. So if you're still here, the word for the day, survival mind. What do you think? Just wanted to say thanks so much for being here, and that's it for now. Buckets of blessings, rivers of peace, joy, and kindness. All the very best, guys. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of the team. What's the word? Put it in the comments. See you guys.